Hey and howdy everyone, it's Jeannie with Paper Pixie Ink, and today I'm actually going to share something a little bit different with you. Today I want to show you how I store some of my supplies. So I use stamps and dies, obviously, and I wanted to share with you how I store them and what organizers and whatnot that I use for that. So let's take a look. So the majority of my dies and my die and stamp sets, I use these from Stamp and Storage. So these are the 6x7 pockets. You can use these for stamps or for dies. And then the 6x7 magnet cards that go with these. I love these. They work so well. So this is what they end up looking like. This is the back of the magnet cards. I just use my Brother P-Touch to create the labels. I've had this one for a little while. I used to use decorative borders on them. I no longer do that because unfortunately these tabs aren't huge. It does cut into the space that you have by putting those borders on. So as you can see, this is how I do them now. I just keep them nice and plain. So I just wanted to share with you how I do that. So there are 10 of these magnet cards in a package, and then there are 12 of these pockets. I usually buy them in 100 at a time. Occasionally I'll have die sets where I'll need to use 2 of these to make one, but then sometimes I only use some of these for certain stamp sets. I generally use these to store my plain stamp sets just because I find that it works much better, but my stamp and die sets and my die sets are all stored this way. Now Stamp and Storage also sells these dividers. I think you can get them in a couple different colors. I like the white. They're like a, I don't know how to describe them, but they're like a thick laminated cardstock. So I just use my Brother P-Touch to create labels based on the manufacturer. So I have, I have my scrapbook.com, I have Simon Says Stamps, I have Sizzix, Spellbinders, etc. So I'm just going to do one with you here today so you can kind of see how I do this. So I have this new die set that I got. So this is the Thank You 2 word dies from scrapbook.com. I love scrapbook.com dies. Their stamps and dies are quite amazing. Their stamps stamp beautifully. They're very durable. And their dies cut beautifully. And they have some really great dies. So I'm just going to pull them off the card, just like this. And I try and keep things together if I can when it makes sense to do so. And depending on a die set, I can sometimes put 2 die sets together, especially if it's like a single die. So I do this, and then I'm going to use my Brother P-Touch. I set my font to Adams just because that's the font that I like, and I set the label margin to chain print just so that you don't waste a whole bunch of your tape in between prints. And then I do a double line. So in this case, this is the name of the die set, and then this is the manufacturer. So for this, I'm just going to do, and I do these all in caps. So I'm just going to do Thank You 2, and then I hit enter, and it's scrapbook.com, and I'm just going to print. And then because I want to keep this feed going, I'm just going to go ahead and do, these are some new dies that I have purchased recently. So I'm just going to go ahead and do these ones as well. So for the pink and mane, it's on the back. These are Fancy Tags dies. So on my Brother P-Touch, I'm just going to hit escape so it doesn't feed further. This allows me to chain print. And I'm just going to back up and do Fancy Tags. And this is pink and mane. And there I have my printed labels. So these will go on here. And as you can see, if I had put a border on this, it would not have fit. So that's why I stopped doing it. So in the Brother P-Touch, you can actually buy a adapter so you can just plug it in. I have the adapter, but sometimes it's just easier to use it with the batteries, so I keep batteries in it as well. So I'm just going to cut these apart. And this one, I'm just going to kind of cut right to the edge just because it's going to barely fit on that tab. And so as you can see, I only have a little bit of waste, and this is why I like using the chain print, because it doesn't waste as much of the label, because, you know, it costs money. So these just slide into the pockets. And just peel the backs off and slide them on. So what I typically do is I will put a bunch of my envelopes and magnet cards together, and I just leave them at the back of my last box, and then that way I can just use them whenever I need to. I keep them in a couple of different places based on what they are. And so this is one of the boxes that I use. This is actually something that I purchased from the Container Store. I think you can maybe buy this brand on Amazon too, I'm not sure. I will try and link that as well for you. But I also use these. So this may have been what you saw in my craft room tour video from my house in Colorado. These work wonderfully. They are very solid. They have handles on them, so you can, and they're on both sides, so you can easily pull them off shelves, because, you know, dies on magnet cards can tend to get a little heavy. But these fit in here beautifully, like super beautifully. They move in here very well because it's acrylic, it slides. These come in different sizes as well. And then I also, for my larger dies that won't fit on the 6x7 cards, I actually use the 7x9 cards, and pockets, also from Stamp & Storage. They're just larger, so as you can see, they work really well. And again, they fit in these beautifully. And you can buy these on Amazon. They're really easy to get your hands on. They're relatively inexpensive for clear acrylics. And again, they work really well. I use these types of bins for half my craft room, probably. I keep lots of different things in these bins. I use them to store ribbons because spools of ribbons, generally speaking, you can get 2 and hang the tails of each one over the side, so they work perfectly. I keep flowers in them. Obviously, I keep stamps and dies in them as well. So they work really, really well. So I use one or the other based on my needs and what it is that I'm storing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, I guess. I wanted to share with you how I do this because when I did my craft room video, I actually had a number of questions about how I stored a lot of stuff. But one of the main ones that I had was how I stored my dies and stamps. So again, dies and die and stamp sets are stored this way. So you can see if it's a die and stamp set, this works beautifully depending on the size of the stamp set, obviously. But again, if it's a larger stamp and die set, like some of the ones from Altenew, for example, these ones work beautifully for, because you can store your dies and the extra large stamp sets fit in the back of these. And they're a good solid plastic, and as you can see, like, they're sealed really well, so it's not a plastic that's gonna rip along seams. They're a little pricier, obviously, but I do highly recommend them. I love them. I have hundreds in my craft room. I buy them when they go on sale, and I try when I am aware of sales to let you guys know on the community page for my YouTube channel so that you guys can see when there are good deals. They quite often around special occasions they just had it for Mother's Day. They have sales on, so those are always good times to get your hands on some, especially the magnet cards. Their storage solutions for crafting supplies is out of this world. I love their paper holders. I love their stamp and die cards and pockets, and I love their ink pad holders, and I have all kinds of their storage solutions. So I hope you guys enjoyed this today. I will do my best to link everything that I have shared with you. So if you are interested in that, the links will be there for you. And if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm not really used to doing videos like this, so if I missed something or I didn't say something that you guys needed to know, just let me know, and I will do my best to answer all your questions. Thanks, everyone.